The subject of water is one that has become very dear to my heart over recent years, particularly since beginning to fast a great deal, especially water fasting, where one becomes completely dependent on this single liquid, this transparent liquid that we have mostly taken for granted in our civilization for certainly decades, if not centuries, certainly decades. Because since the advent of the water system and the sewage systems that have allowed us to literally shit in our own water supply, we have kind of come to take for granted what it is to have clear running water arriving in our homes. And today, the state of water is really something to feel concerned about, because our water is full of glyphosate and heavy agricultural pesticides and chemicals. Our water at the tap in our homes is full of drugs, of medicines, of antidepressants, of hormones, of statins. When people choose to medicate themselves via the pharmaceutical company, they are not just medicating themselves, they are medicating absolutely everyone, because we all get this in our water supply. And there have been, for me, very persuasive experiments demonstrating the memory of water in recent years. It started with Masaru Emoto and his pictures of ice crystals, and that work has been sometimes denigrated by others as if it was just a chance thing, and yet there have been so many supplementary experiments demonstrating that indeed water has this incredible capacity for memory. Water is not simply H2O. Maybe it could be. Distilled, fresh, destructured water is akin to H2O, and yet there is this fourth phase of water, which is sometimes referred to as easy water. It's what explains how water, through capillary action, is able to climb enormous heights to the tops of trees. It explains how water is able to, and blood is able to circulate around our body with a pump that would be massively insufficient to actually drive through pressure blood around our entire system. This fourth phase of water is only really just becoming understood in recent years, and yet it's still far absent from textbooks and barely mentioned anywhere. Water has this ability to be structured, or this, I don't know if it's even really an ability, is part of its nature. And so it clumps together in molecules depending on what it's passed through, what energies it has been surrounded by. And for me, it's been demonstrated beyond any shadow of a doubt that water is responsive to the thoughts that we have, the vibrations, the electromagnetic fields that it's subjected to. So for the last few years, I've been enacting a water ritual. There have been periods where it's been absolutely every day. Sometimes I just don't have the time for it. But I now relate to water as a conscious entity. There isn't anything that is living that does not depend on the presence of water. To me, it seems that water is the key to life. It is present in every living organism, apart from, perhaps, I believe there are some salt-based creatures that exist in the depths of the earth, in volcanic, sulfuric, zones. But other than that, it is present in every other living organism. It is the single sign of life that astronomers are searching for on other planets and in space. It seems that water is the key to life. When the sky rains, it rains its beneficent, life-giving force on absolutely everyone. It does not distinguish. It is utterly transparent in its action. It absorbs the energy of those things around, and it reflects our image back to us. the first mirror images we were able to behold would have been looking down into pools of water. So it has this reflective capacity, it has this fluid, liquid capacity. Water behaves in ways that no other substance on Earth does, in the way that it expands when it freezes. Have I got that around the right way? Or it contracts when it freezes. But it behaves in this bizarre way which is unlike any other material on Earth, the way it reacts when it evaporates. Water is this unbelievable thing. And so I began doing this kind of water ritual, spinning water through magnets. And then I felt called to, as time went on, it occurred to me that this actually is something that responds to the way I think and feel. And I've participated in experiments where I have sung to the water with other people, and without any prompting, people have tasted this water and gone, my goodness, this is the sweetest, tastiest water that they've ever tasted. And I've witnessed that myself on so many occasions that, to me, it defies the possibility that it's just suggestion, that it's just a weakness of the mind that leads people to think that. My own experience of my health, as I've increased the awareness that I have in relationship to water, is undeniable. And the ability for water to sustain us for days, my biggest fast so far was 23 days, and most people think that it's not possible to even fast for that long, let alone to feel as incredible as I did. There was a man called Victor Schauberger who 100 years ago demonstrated many of the incredible properties of water, that his techniques were adopted by industry. So there's no doubt about the validity of what he was asserting, and yet his work seems largely overlooked. And it's really incredible because there's this stubbornness in the determination, the industrial determination of modern humans to disregard anything that they think seems superfluous or crazy, and yet we're coming to appreciate more and more that these subtle natural energies have a great validity. You know, we take paracetamol every day and forget the fact that that originated as, or aspirin, for example, it originated as something which was the bark of a tree. That's what it is. And people advocated that as a cure for headaches for centuries, possibly millennia. And herbalism today is scoffed at, and yet it is the very root of all the medicines that we use today. So let's not overlook water. Oh, for the day when every human being on this earth has access to a clear and healthy water supply. To me, this is the greatest urgency on this planet. This is the thing that we should be addressing, far more than travel through space and all the other concerns we have. Until every person on this planet has access to clean water, I really wonder what on earth it is that